Tail's wrong with you. When I was a small child, still in diapers, those were the first words that I remember hearing. And it really wasn't a word, it's a phrase. And in Texas, you'll hear it. If you grew up in Texas or in the South, basically working on a ranch or a farm, you've heard those words many times by the rancher or the farmer that you were working for. I'd be out building a fence as a kid, doing my best to either repair or build a fence or paint a metal fence. Get the wire brush, and then you're painting it with Rust-Oleum, trying to stop corrosion. And the rancher pull up on ride up on a horse or pull up on a pickup truck, driving a pickup truck, and walk over there to you. Tell's wrong with you, and that means you're not doing it right. Something you're missing some very important foundational knowledge. And so anyway, I don't know, and they'd show you exactly what they had told you the first time that you didn't listen to because you're a kid, and they know that. That's why they come up and ask you what the hell's wrong with you, and what is it? What that means? In case you're from Minnesota or California or somewhere out west or Boston, what that means is what the hell is wrong with you, boy? And we all got called boy. I mean, uh, we could be the problem, the reason people have gender identity issues because they even called the girls boy around here. And I don't know. It could be our fault. All of this. James Tallarico is our fault. We brought him here to unleash his wrath upon us. But I digress. Let me get back to my point. Um, Old farmer would come in, tell you, "Tail's wrong with you," and then he'd explain exactly what you did wrong, and then and you just knew when the farmer or rancher said those words, that phrase, you're in some trouble, and you're going to get a talking to. And then the other day, I was sitting at a bar in a restaurant watching a ball game, and there's a couple sitting next to me, not or about a couple chairs down, and I could hear her talking, and I knew she wasn't from Texas. Now I'm open-minded to other people who are not Texan to come to Texas, and she was from California, and she was talking, and she got to talking a little bit loud. I think she had had a few too many cervezas, and she got a little loose with the lips, and she started talking about how bad Texas was. And I looked over at her and didn't say nothing, but I gave her that look that says, "Tail's wrong with you." And pretty soon I could tell her boyfriend, he actually looked at her, and he's from around here, and he said, "Tail's wrong with you." And he told her to shut the bleep up at that bar. He said it loud too. He was pretty frustrated. And she said, "Everybody knows that Texas is horrible. It's the most horrible place to live." And I couldn't help it. I just looked at her and said, "Why'd you move here then? I mean, you can always leave. That's what I'd recommend. Just pack your crap and get out of here because we're not going to change because you don't like it." And anyway, that started a good conversation, but I don't know. She was just screaming. And what was funny is she said, "Well, yeah, there's people are leaving Texas in droves to move to California because Texas is so horrible." And everybody in the restaurant that could hear that started laughing, including me. And I said, "Well, girl, there's this thing called facts. Why don't we go down to U-Haul and find out how many trucks get rented in California to move a family to Arizona, Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Florida, anywhere in the South is where they're moving. They're getting the heck out of there. New York's coming south. Illinois, they're vacating like crazy. And even in Minnesota, people are leaving because it's just bat soup crazy up there." And anyway, I said, uh, you can just do the numbers, and people are not leaving Texas to move to California in those numbers. I've got friends that just moved from Texas to California, and and I think they'll be really good there because they're good, smart people, and they understand how to talk to people. But they're not leftists at all. And I played in a bluegrass band and toured on the West Coast, and I met some of the coolest, salt of the earth people I've ever met. North of Sacramento, up in uh, up in Nevada City, I think it's called the Miners Foundry. We played that place, and it was just a blast. Loved it. The people were so cool, and so you never. get away from the cities, and it's pretty cool. But this woman was apparently from one of the big blue cities, and she was saying, "Well, Texas, it's horrible." And I said, "Girl, everybody's leaving California because you can't find a U-Haul to move to Texas. And in Texas, they've got so many U-Hauls that need to go to California. They'll give it to you if you just put gas in it. It's basically free to move to California." So I rest my case. I made such a firm, incredible, epistemologically solid case with her that it just changed her heart and her mind. No, it didn't. She didn't understand. Then I found out she's vegetarian, and it went downhill. I'm like, girl, I'll tell you what. We need to invite some of these people to a backyard barbecue and let them lay their lips on some ribs or brisket. Meat, smoked meat is our love language around here, and we need to share it. We need to be missionaries to these people, and just invite them over, and you'll notice if you're from California, don't get mad at me, but if you notice, you come over, we're going to be wearing cowboy boots, and they might have a little smell because we sprayed them with fire ant spray a little bit before we went out in the yard because we got those, and we're going to give you the seat of honor. It's going to be right next to that fire ant mound that hadn't been treated. Just don't know why, but and while you're sitting there and you start screaming because your legs are on fire, we're just going to look at you and say, "Tail's wrong with you. Welcome to Texas. Love y'all."